Thank you for watching this show. This is Charlie Goes to Vegas. My name is Charley McMullen. I'm going to explain what it is that I hope to accomplish. This is episode 1, so I hope you are listening to this one first. The rest of the episodes, if they're going to go the way I think they're going to go, they don't necessarily have to be listened to in order, but this is definitely episode 1. I like to kind of explain what the point of all this is, because I know you've got a lot of choice. I know you have all the choices there are when it comes to how to waste time on the internet. You have all of the choices. Thank you for choosing me. The point of Charlie Goes to Vegas is that I've, like for most of my life, at least since I was a kid, I've been a minimalist, which is a pretentious way of saying poor. Now, what that means is that I've never really had a whole lot of money to spend on sort of luxury items, so I've never really been impressed with people who spend money the way most people are impressed, because living in Las Vegas, through no fault of my own, I have to kind of look around and find a way to deal with it, because in the handful of times I've been to Vegas, I've always kind of felt out of place, because I do not drink anymore. That's a different story for a different campfire, but I don't drink. I definitely don't gamble. Before I lived here, the last time I was in Vegas, I got cleaned out in a casino by a Gremlins slot machine, because I love Gremlins more than I love gambling. So I try to stay away from gambling. I definitely don't go to upscale restaurants. Anybody who pays more than, I'm gonna be conservative. Anybody who pays more than $13 for a meal, I think you're wasting money. I'm not impressed by your poor decision making. No one else is either, by the way. It's just gross. So I don't go to upscale restaurants. Nobody never goes to strip clubs. Anyone who never goes to strip clubs is kind of insane. Everyone has to sometimes because they're strip clubs. But even before the pandemic, I only went once a year, and that was when people were allowed to touch each other. Now, I don't go at all. After the pandemic, I might bump that up to 2-3 times a year, just to make up for lost time. I try to keep my house in order. I don't know. And plus, this is Las Vegas. Strip clubs are like their thing. Like, you're gonna go to Philadelphia and not try the cheesesteak. Like, you're gonna try it at least once. That's their thing. Like, you're gonna go to Memphis and not have some ribs. Like, come on. That's what Vegas is known for. I'm definitely gonna check it out when it's safe to do so. But this is a review podcast, and I'm trying. Basically, what I'm trying to do is prove to you beforehand that I'm not just a cynical hipster that hates everything. I don't hate everything. There's a lot to love. You just have to look through all the sort of excessive things about Las Vegas, because I think, without question, even considering like Bangkok, places like that, I think Las Vegas is the most excessive city that has ever existed. Which, that doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it's just not an easy thing for a minimalist to deal with when you live here. So the kinds of places I'm going to be reviewing on this show will be definitely lesser known places in Vegas. Not like this is for real tacos. Like, this is where you have to go for not the bullshit mainstream tacos. Like, I'm not talking about like little known places like that. I'm talking about places that do not involve animatronic pirates fighting on giant mechanical ships. I'm talking about, no Cirque du Soleil at all. You're not going to find any sort of Cirque du Soleil or talk about how extravagant that new Beatles show is. I'm not going to do. At best, I might sneak in to see Blue Man Group while I'm here. I have nothing against them. I would be more than happy to review a Blue Man Group show, but I'm definitely not paying Blue Man tickets. My point is, I'm going to be going to places for people that like me to enjoy, because when Vegas is just too much for you to handle, like it is for me sometimes, you need places that are very sort of un-Vegas to go to. And even if you want to get the full experience, but you don't want all of the pageantry of the Strip, there are places you can go. For this first episode, I'm going to be talking mostly about the Fremont Street experience. This is a place that I didn't know about until I lived here. I've come to recognize this as sort of the thinking man's Strip. Like, there There are no water fountain shows. Sorry, no disrespect to the Bellagio, but it's water, okay? If that's going to impress you, why don't plumbers get more respect in society? Like, I don't know about you, but I am 80% water. I'm not going to be impressed by water dancing around. I can dance around. I'm not asking for a hotel to be named after me. I'm going to be talking about the Fremont Street Experience, which is in downtown Vegas. It is on Las Vegas Boulevard. Should be easy for most of us to remember. And it's full of places that are like the Strip, but Strip light. For example, there's a place called Wonder Park, which is an AR VR park. And I'll be honest, I'll admit it right now, I had to Google that. I don't know what it is. Augmented reality, virtual reality park. So I've not been there yet, but it's definitely the kind of place I would go to. Like if it's just like Oculus crossed with maybe laser tag, I'd be fine with that. That is awesome. Nobody has to gamble, nobody has to get drunk, and nobody has to take their clothes off. I would go to an AR VR park. Also on the Fremont Street Experience is the Heart Attack Grill. Now this definitely falls into the category of excessive, but the reason I like the Heart Attack Grill is I know that now all restaurants, the servers have to wear face masks. All the servers at the Heart Attack Grill are dressed like old-timey pit-up nurses who get to wear a surgical mask anyway, and it works. I know that's not a big deal, but I respect stuff like that. So, you know, my hat goes off to the staff of the Heart Attack Grill for making that connection and not missing the beat. You guys are what's going to save this economy. I need thinking like that to happen. Now, you know, there's a lot of places where it's not a casino, it's not a bar. Well, it's probably a bar. Most everything is whatever it is and a bar. That's just how things are done here. Open containers are just sort of, is not a law, it's just sort of a, you know, open container laws in Vegas. A disapproving glance is the most you'll get from a, not even a cop, from a security guard. Who could care less. They want to keep you safe, but I mean, not safer than you deserve, if that makes sense. And it probably doesn't, which is okay. But I'm trying to think of what else is on the Fremont Street Experience. I've been there a couple of times. Now, one reason why I don't like ziplining is because I don't like hiking, and it seems like you can't do one without the other. I mean, hiking is okay, but I also walk to get places, so I'm not going to like go to work recreationally. Really? Not even if it's uphill the whole time? No, especially not. Like, that's nothing against hiking. It just doesn't make sense for someone without a car, I guess. But if you wanted to try ziplining but do not like hiking or nature, really, which I could take or leave, you can zipline across, like all the way down Fremont Street over like 5 city blocks. I will probably do that at some point. Like, I'm curious enough, because I've never been curious enough about ziplining to hike as well. But I mean, if you can take an elevator, I'm listening at least. So I'll probably do that at one point. One thing that I'm going to, when it's applicable, I'm going to try to give something the Sin City score. I do this because I take nicknames very seriously. I have my whole life. Like, last time I went to New York, every time I passed a fruit stand, I spent like probably 5 minutes trying to find the biggest apple. You know, and if I couldn't find, like, if I found the biggest apple and I didn't think it was that big, I would call the name of the big apple into question. Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love. If I go there and I see 2 brothers fighting, I'm going to call bullshit on it. You know what I mean? Like, I hold city nicknames to their word. So Las Vegas is called Sin City, so what I'm going to do is take the 7 deadly sins and see how they apply. Now, because Vegas, I mean, it definitely focuses on some of the 7 deadly sins. I think a lot of the focus is being on, you know, greed, gluttony, and lust, and some of the other ones are kind of being overlooked. So, of course, we have a possible score of 7. If you get 7 out of 7, that is the best. Okay, I don't want to say the best score, but 7 out of 7 will be the most horrific but still enjoyable experiences you can have. So, with the Fremont Street Experience, let's go ahead and start with gluttony. I mentioned the Heart Attack Grill. That covers gluttony right there, in its literal sense. Let's see. Vanity. Vanity is kind of a tough one, but there are plenty of selfies to be had on Fremont Street, and I think vanity is what fuels selfies, and selfies is what fuel people actually doing things. If people can't take pictures of what they're doing, I don't think they would still do them. So there are plenty of good selfies to be taken on Fremont Street. There are costume characters that pose for pictures and stuff like that. Last time I was there, Pennywise was hanging out. I played 99 red balloons for him on my phone. He got it. He got it. So vanity, I will give it a point for vanity. Pride, I'm not going to give it a point for pride because it's very difficult to have both gluttony and pride. Those are just two opposing sins, and I think gluttony is going to win out. It's not that there's no pride amongst people on Fremont Street. There's a carnival attraction where if you pay $20 to play, you could win $200 if you hang from like an iron bar for a minute 45 seconds. That is all about pride. That is what is keeping the economy going as well. So I will give it a point for pride. Wrath, I've seen people unable to do that and pay $20 again to not be able to do it again. So that definitely counts as wrath, but I think that's more of an isolated instance. There's enough. I mean, Nevada is a state with legalized gambling, legalized marijuana, legalized prostitution. I'm not telling you there's a connection, but it's just difficult to have actual wrath when you're surrounded by legal things that their whole thing is taking away wrath. If you wanted to smoke a joint with a hooker in front of a cop, you can do that on Fremont Street. So it does not get the point for wrath. Where were we? Let's see. Envy. I think most things in Las Vegas, whether they're on the Strip or on Fremont Street or anywhere, are going to get a point for envy. If not for envy, apart from the selfie argument I made earlier, if not for envy, I don't think Vegas would even exist. Like if you go to Caesar's Palace, you will see more forced elegance surrounding the least elegant people you've ever seen in your life. It's a conundrum that I have come to respect. So let's see, what else do we got? There is, all right, there's, I'm trying to remember my Morgan Freeman movies, there are so many. But there's gluttony, there's pride, there's wrath, there's lust. Again, most things in Vegas are going to get a point for lust. Fremont Street is no different. I mentioned the nurse uniforms on the servers at the Heart Attack Grill. That's my thing. Doesn't necessarily have to be your thing, but lust is definitely there. If you don't find lust anywhere in Las Vegas, you're just not looking hard enough. Pun intended. I'm a fan of puns. So it gets a point for lust. What else do we got? Greed. Actually, I'm not going to give it a point for greed. Most things in Vegas, I mean, there's gambling all around you. That is greed on its face. But I'm not going to give it a point for that because while there are casinos, they're not the focus. It's mostly like a state fair for middle-aged children. And I think that's why I like it. So as a middle-aged child, I think that's why the Fremont Street experience appeals to me. For instance, an axe-throwing bar. I don't drink, but I like to watch drunk people throw axes. Who the fuck doesn't? You know what I mean? You know, like I don't drink, but I still do karaoke. That's probably psychotic to some of you. But it's, you know, doing karaoke regularly. I don't have religion, so that's the closest I get to a choir. So let's see. Gluttony, got it. Pride, vanity, wrath, lust, greed. There's one more. What am I missing here? Forgetfulness. No, sloth is the last one. And I'm not giving it a point for sloth. So, I mean, there maybe pre-COVID, you could sit down anywhere you want and take a nap. As long as you have sunglasses, you could weekend at Bernie's your way through a nap. Not so much. People are watching very closely at who does and does not appear to be unconscious. So you can't really allow yourself any kind of sloth. So let's take the final score for the Fremont Street experience. Gluttony gets a point. Wrath does not get a point. Pride does not get a point. Vanity gets a point. Lust gets a point. Let's see here. Yeah, well, this is probably an error. I'm not writing any of this down, so I'm probably miscalculating this. But by my possibly flawed count, it gets a score of 3 out of 7. So that, for me, is a very good score. Fremont Street experience is where you want to see what Las Vegas is like without being assaulted with the epilepsy of the Las Vegas Strip. Now, I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you very much. This is basically what it's going to be about. I'm going to be telling you how to enjoy Las Vegas if you're not really comfortable there. And I hope this helps you enjoy the city like it's helping me. You can click on the banner to get the rest of my videos. Subscribe if you like them. There's going to be new ones as regularly as I can manage. Pretty steady. You can thank Blast Pop Media for that. And, you know, I'm not really a lot on social media. You can find me on Twitter. Charley is spelled Charley. McMullen is spelled with 2 capital M. My name is a nightmare. My name is a total mess. Charley McMullen. That's basically how to find me. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook because I am 41. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Tune in to the next one. I've heard there's a pinball museum in town that I'm going to check out. I'm told there is a lingerie coffee shop. What is not to like about that? So if you would like a minimalist guide to the most excessive city in the world, that is what I'm hoping to provide for you. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Hee-haw!